North Korea will be wiped off the world map should it use nuclear weapons on South Korea or the United States. That's what South Korea's Defense Minister Song Young-moo confidently stated on Monday at a security forum in Singapore.
South Korea's defense chief has stressed that Seoul will not, under any circumstances, accept North Korea as a nuclear state and will powerfully respond to its provocations. Speaking at a forum in Singapore earlier on this Monday, Song Young-moo said the most urgent and grave security threat in the Asia-Pacific region is Pyongyang's nuclear and missile development. He emphasized that Seoul will work towards a complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula through peaceful measures like dialogue and negotiation. Sanctions and pressure will only be the means of achieving this. Mentioning North Korea could have been secretly trading with other nations using foreign vessels, Minister Song urged all nations in the region to abide by UN sanctions and up the pressure on the regime.
Fire command!
North Korea will be wiped off the world map should it use nuclear weapons on South Korea or the United States. That's what South Korea's Defense Minister Song Young-moo confidently stated on Monday at a security forum in Singapore. When asked whether Pyongyang has a coercive purpose to its nuclear weapons program, Minister Song said the North attacking South Korea or the U.S. won't happen for real, and that the nuclear development program is just a part of the Kim Jong-un regime's propaganda strategy. He stressed that it's, quote, anachronistic to say Pyongyang will use its nuclear weapons, but added, if it does, then the regime will be erased off the world map. And to deal with this threat, Minister Song gave assurances that South Korea won't be deploying tactical nuclear weapons, but developing stronger conventional weapons to keep peace, not go to war. The remarks came during a question and answer session after Minister Song's keynote speech at the 2018 Fullerton Forum, the very first as Seoul's defense chief. During his address, he stressed the most urgent and grave security threat in the Asia-Pacific region is Pyongyang's nuclear and missile development, and said South Korea will not under any circumstances accept North Korea as a nuclear state. He emphasized that Seoul will work towards a complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula through peaceful measures like dialogue and negotiation, saying sanctions and pressure will only be used as means of achieving this. Mentioning that North Korea could have been secretly trading with other nations using foreign vessels, Minister Song urged all nations in the region to abide by UN sanctions and up the pressure on the regime.
South Korea and the United States have wrapped up their latest round of high-level defense talks last week, and while the two Koreas have been interacting for North Korea's participation in the upcoming Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, Seoul and Washington have reaffirmed their ironclad alliance, saying that their ultimate goal is North Korea's denuclearization. And before I sit down with an expert to talk more about this, here's our Oh Jung-hee with more on the meeting.
Amid continued visits and talks between the two Koreas, the defense chiefs of Seoul and Washington met on Friday to reaffirm their ironclad alliance and denuclearization goal. South Korean Defense Minister Song Young-moo and U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis sat down for talks at U.S. Pacific Command in Hawaii, just 3 months after their last meeting in late October. The U.S. defense chief welcomed the recent resumption of inter-Korean talks, but at the same time, Mattis and his South Korean counterpart confirmed their shared goal of the complete, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. That is, the talks on the Olympics should serve to make North Korea change its path and come to the negotiation table, but not detract from the ultimate goal of denuclearization. Song and Mattis also saw eye to eye on the need to strengthen military readiness against Pyongyang while maintaining strong support for diplomatic solutions.
This threat remains diplomacy-led, backed up with military options available to ensure that our diplomats are understood to be speaking from a position of strength.
Mattis reaffirmed Washington's ironclad security commitment to South Korea, including extended deterrence, and stressed North Korea will face an overwhelming response from the U.S. if the regime ever attacked one of its allies. Song and Mattis also emphasized that any attempt to crack the Seoul-Washington alliance will fail. They agreed to meet face-to-face as often as possible. While there was speculation the talks would set the schedule for the postponed joint military drills Key Resolve and Full Eagle, that was not the case. The exact schedules remain unknown, but the Allies' military authorities are firm that the drills will be held as normal immediately after the Pyeongchang Olympics wrap up in March.